Hey, Group 7. Um, I'm definitely slacking on the company name. Still have not figured that out. But whatever the name ends up being, I probably need a co-founder just for name creation. We provide more comfort and control in your home. Our easy-to-use system prevents hot spots, cold spots, and thermostat arguments in your home by providing precise custom temperature control in each room. So since this is a new product being manufactured and developed, I have actually not developed it over the course of this semester. No actual prototypes. So I'm not going to be able to give a full answer on all of the questions, but I can explain some of the thought process that will go behind making these decisions and answering these questions over time. So what resources do I need to build the business? I'm me for the technical thing. Obviously, some money. Over time, manufacturing capacity and marketing department, since this is an existing industry, but a totally new thing inside the industry. This is more of I think we called it evangelistic, maybe. So it's going to take some marketing to get people aware of it and on board with it until that starts rolling. And then, of course, some patents for this too. So that's some of the resources needed to build this business. As far as how many people, that kind of depends on how it goes. Did not get in touch with contract manufacturers for pricing or anything. They couldn't really tell much without a whole bunch of like designs or prototype or drawing or something. Just the description was not really good enough to get a solid answer from them. So also depends on how many we sell. If it's depending, I would like to obviously design the product where it's easier to manufacture, but it won't be high tech itself in the manufacture. So I could probably get a bunch of high school students to do most of the actual assembly if it came down to it. Just a couple people who really knew what they were doing and could answer questions. I could find those people from either Pensacola State or UWF, some recent graduates, or some seniors or something who has more experience with the electronics. But probably one or two real experienced people. And then just off the top of my head, I don't know. I think if it works out the way I think it's going to work out, we'd have a machine shop doing all the actual vent work. The rest of it would be electronics, but that would be I would do the electronics and lay out the circuit board, and then the manufacturer who makes the circuit board has a special program where, of course, for money, you can pay them and they'll put all the parts on it and test the product for you, test the boards. So really it would be mainly assembly and then a test process at the end. So again, if my design that's up here in my head works, it would be probably about 30 minutes to assemble a single vent. And then if the average household is 10 vents, that's about 5 hours. But then people are going to play on their phones, take breaks and all that. So that's like one house's worth. Maybe, probably one a day per person. So depending on what the demand ended up being, that's something that could scale fairly quickly in a pinch, just because I know there are contract manufacturers out there. I would do really good standard operating procedures, SOPs, and assembly and testing documents, even for just if it started out small, high school students here. So the contract manufacturer transition wouldn't take very long, and I could always push out the lead time a little bit if things starts going crazy. Hardware, software you need to buy, I would be building everything. The only thing I'm not sure of is on the actual thermostat side. I don't know if I would be designing and building that myself, or if I can find some kind of open source hardware system that I can modify. Any IP need to license? No, I don't think so, because I'd use open source software and protocols. How much money do I need to raise? When and why? Don't know. Just because product hasn't been finished yet. Cash flows. What's the importance of cash flows? Well, for mine, that would be fairly important. I'd be able to get some investors or some loans in the beginning, but I would need to show pretty quick cash flow, because it's not like it's not something like Tesla is a while until they start seeing cash flows, because it's a lot of development. I would already have a product, so there would be expectations for pretty quick cash flows. And when do I get paid versus when do others get paid? Again, we'll see how it's all laid out. Personally, I don't like to have a whole lot of debt, and I think I would like that for the company as well. But I'd want to play a balance between that and, of course, leverage. I'd like to leverage debt to help grow. So again, it kind of depends on how things shake out. My expense model, most of it's going to be in the beginning, the product development. After that is your production and shipping and all that, marketing. I included the home improvement store fees because that was pretty significant. They demand a very big discount on their stuff. Key financial metrics for costs in my business model would be just regular COGS, I believe, cost of goods sold. Over time, I could nail down different things. So like at work, we make electro-pneumatic devices. So it's electronically controlling compressed gas and air. That's what we do at Proportion Air. And one of the financial metrics we have for costs is sales is supposed to be 10% or less of our total revenue. Engineering is supposed to stay at 8% or less of our revenue. So there's ways I can keep an eye on things like that. And then when it comes to the actual product, if there's some part that is more than about 20% of the cost, we start looking into that and seeing what we can do to make that a little bit better. But that's some good metrics for the company I work at now. So over time, things would pop up like that. But as far as metrics for costs in my business model, I would have to wait and see as things go and kind of play it by ear. Access to resources, what's the best location for your business? Since a lot of it's going to be sold online, doesn't really matter as much. Cash flow break-even point, again, not 100% sure on this one. I do believe that my total costs would be about a third of my sell price. But I'm not sure about, again, the contract manufacturing being a big question mark right now is really negatively affecting my ability to answer this, because I don't know what that full upfront cost is going to be. Financial and operations timeline. Again, by the time I go and get investors, I would want to do a lot of the stuff up front. So by the time I get investors or loans or something like that, I would have a better idea for the finance timeline. As far as the operations timeline, I would really, really like to just go all out from the beginning with a contract manufacturer. But some of that would be a little bit more of the stuff that I would continue on beyond this class. So some of the same concepts. So I'd start a website and start getting some buzz and all that, and kind of see how that goes. So if a ton of people start ordering on the website, then that can kind of help me gauge of if I need to go right to contract manufacturing or just hire people locally. That would change the timeline as well. And when we'll need these resources, it's hard to answer because a lot of different resources, but different stages like we just went through. Did anything change? And actually nothing changed this week. I didn't get to talk to as many people this week, but everyone I talked to, everything sounds like it's pretty good so far. I've already figured out a lot of stuff. I mean, it's changed a whole lot from the first few weeks. But I think really the biggest things have been some of the product features and the positioning more than anything. But everybody's pretty much been on board with the problem and the price range for the solution. Everybody's really agreed with me on that. So, yeah, I guess that's it. And I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of you guys' thing, and good luck for the rest of your degree program after this class.